did I get here? Not to the art shop, I drove there. How did I get to this point of ridding myself of majority of my possessions, releasing the stability of a home where I have access to running water at the flick of a tap, or access to power at the flick of a switch, to living in a van where I'm every other day filling up my water tanks, constantly monitoring my power system, always looking for somewhere to sleep, to park up, find a bathroom. How did I get there? I have kind of always felt a little bit on the outer. I always wanted to be different and never really go with the crowd. I have always been an artist at heart. I would spend quite a bit of time as a child just drawing, and maybe that was my little escape into a fantasy world of just spending some time alone. And I've always loved nature, being outside. I've always loved animals. Mum says that I used to spend hours just watching ants, and to be honest, I still do. Maybe not hours, but I quite often will watch them and wonder what they're thinking. Are they thinking? How do they know what to do in their community to help everything go and move in the way it should? And then when I was old enough to venture out on my own, probably in my high school years, I grew up close to the beach, and so I would quite often just go down the beach with my Walkman of songs that I had recorded off the radio on my tape. And I would just listen to music, and I would sing, and I would just sit down at the ocean. And then when I got my driver's license, that was my first real taste of freedom. I bought a little Toyota Corolla. Yes, I have always been a Toyota fan enthusiast. And I used to drive down to Margaret River and camp down at Preveley on my own. And I just loved, being able to play my music loud and just being on the open road on my own. I don't know what it was, but I still get that feeling. I get in the car, and if I know I'm headed out to go somewhere new or different, it's just this sense of excitement. I can't explain it. And then after that sense of freedom with my car, I had this itch and urge to travel the world, and I wanted to just go backpacking across the world. I just wanted to leave everything behind and go on adventure. It's just something that has always been in my bones. But best laid plans, I wound up meeting someone instead, and I had my daughter, and I got married, and then I got into the swing of a normal life where you raise your children, you look after your home, you socialise with family and friends, you work your job, but there was always something missing. I would always be rearranging the house or moving house, and I never could really pinpoint why. My daughter is my greatest achievement in life. She's an amazing human being and my best friend. And I'm so glad that I did have her when I was younger, because I think that has contributed to us being so close. But the marriage eventually fell apart, and I think it actually made my relationship with my daughter stronger. And we spent about 3 years on our own, and to be honest, a lot of it we were on our own most of the time anyway. And so we created a home, but still we were moving around. And then I met someone else and got back into that swing again, except this time I'd built up my own business and I was able to distract myself with something else again. And all the while this is happening, there's still something missing. And I'd still go on holidays and trips down south, and it was just always something missing. So I did move down south with my partner and my daughter in 2016, I think, thinking that that would be the answer for me, because I had always wanted to live down south in the country. And I had a job where it was a beautiful winery and I had the most amazing view from my office, but still I just had this urge to be outside. And I had heard about van life and I'd read a book about it, and it was all I could think about. And in the end, my partner at the time and we wound up going to Canada and experiencing van life for a couple of months. And it pretty much just never left me from there. I came back to Perth and I tried to go back to a normal life. We moved back in the house in Perth, and I got a job running a boatyard. It was a really stressful job and I wasn't happy in my relationship. And so I ended that in 2019, and the job I left, I think, early 2020. And once again, I moved back down south, this time on my own, thinking it would be the answer. And again, I got a 4-bedroom home because it was the only thing available, and an accounting job. And I was just miserable. It was wonderful being able to go out and explore nature, but van life was still calling me.
Rainy days don't seem so wet, stormy nights don't stay. From the moment that we met, you were worth the wait. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know. Talk for hours and never slept. 2 silhouettes on the concrete steps. We watched the sun as it slowly crept from the horizon to the place we met. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know.
At the time, I kind of felt like I was breaking in two. I didn't realise it then, but when I look back now, I think maybe I was breaking in two. I was releasing an old me, a persona that I had created according to societal norms, and creating Christy 2.0. I was rediscovering my artwork again. I'd created my red tail black cockatoo design. I'd created my logo design and a number of others, and I'd bought the van, and I had this vision in my head of just sitting in my van and creating artwork and selling it on the road. And it's been 4 years I've been in the van, and I have finally gotten to that point. But not only have I created a life where I am starting to earn an income off what I'm passionate about, I have found myself again. I am that young Christy again. I am creating, I am spending time in nature, I am exploring, I'm adventuring, I'm on the open road. And I find it quite amazing how, if we think back to when we're younger, there's so many indicators to show us what brings us joy. The way I feel now, and who knows, that it may change in the future, but right now I feel like there is no way I could live in a house again. I feel like there is no way I could go back to going into an office or one place of employment every day. That would honestly feel like a prison sentence to me now. And I don't want to glorify this life in a way that is saying it's easy every day and it's wonderful every day, because there's so many difficult points to van life too. It can get really lonely. And I didn't really experience that for quite a few years because I was so excited. And to be honest, when I am driving and I'm exploring and I'm busy, I don't think about it. But when I'm still, I do think I would like to travel with someone else in their own van. I couldn't have another person in my van living with me. And this life is not for everybody. It is for me. And I think it's always been for me. If I look back at my younger self, my younger self would have a grin from ear to ear watching my life now. And when I was younger, YouTube didn't exist. The opportunity to sell my artwork via the internet did not exist because the internet didn't exist. I couldn't have listened to any song I wanted at a whim because I would only have had my tape deck, and if that didn't work, I'd have to listen to country music radio stations. So I think it's funny how life happens. If we follow what our heart is calling us to do, it might not be the way we expect it to happen. If we can release expectation, we might find that joy comes in the form of another avenue. And who knows where my life is going to go to from here. All I know is that I am thoroughly enjoying the ride.